Ohio and Indiana are holding primary elections today, and President Trump will be keeping an eye on at least some of them. CBS News political director Fin Gomez is tracking more than just some of them for us. So, Fin, why is the president paying close attention to these state-level races in Indy?
Indiana is really fascinating, Vlad, and happy election day to those who celebrate. Yes, look, last December, 21 Republican state senators in Indiana defied President Trump and his national Republican allies on their big redistricting push and voted down his push to redraw the state's congressional map, a map he wanted in order to flip at least 2 democratically held congressional seats and pad the Republicans' razor-thin House majority. 8 of those 21 are on the ballot today, and 8 of those have been pushed back, and the president has vowed payback on those 8. Tonight is supposedly that payback. He's endorsed primary challengers against the majority of those senators, about 7 out of the 8, and his political operation, his massive political operation, is all in. We're told national groups have poured millions of dollars into ads in these races that normally don't really see that much spending in comparison. One of those big super PACs is actually run by the president's close ally, Republican Senator Jim Banks of Indiana. The question tonight, though, does this MAGA movement in Indiana still have that muscle to really punish and convey that message that the president wants to these Republicans who crossed him on this issue, or will they, in fact, push back? And right now, we're thinking the prediction, we rarely make predictions, but it is going to be pretty much a dogfight. We'll see who wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, I love that you brought up that point, because that's something that I've been wondering. You have a lot of candidates who obviously, want the president's backing, but also have to make this very tough choice of how they're going to message to folks that, that might be more down the middle. But I digress.
And Hoosiers and Republicans in Indiana have that sort of Hoosier independence. Just remember Mike Pence, the former vice president. Of course, they're known for that sort of independent streak they have.
Yeah,
so
my in-laws are from Indiana, so I know exactly. I spent a lot of time there. We have a lot of these discussions, so I am very curious how this one plays out. But what about Ohio? Which ones are you watching there?
Oh, look, all eyes are on the Ohio Senate race in particular, and that's expected. Tonight is the big primary. We're expecting to see Republican John Husted, who's the appointed incumbent. Again, this is to fill the vacancy left by Vice President Vance when he left to become vice president. On the Democratic side is former Senator Sherrod Brown, a progressive, very big name ID, but it's a matchup that most Ohio Democrats that I have spoken to have been wanting for. He's raised a ton of money. The Senate Majority PAC, which is aligned with the Senate Democrats, they announced today they're pouring in $40 million to help his campaign. And remember, this is a state that Trump won by 11 points back in 2024. But Democrats generally believe Brown can pull off this upset in November. He again, 3-term former senator, has got that blue collar brand. We'll see again the last few cycles we've seen Ohio, the Buckeye State, move more red.
Well, let's talk a bit more about redistricting. Tennessee and Alabama both moving to redraw their congressional maps. Finney, why now, and could they be successful?
Well, I think the why now, and this is a great question, Vlad, but the why now comes to the one ruling, to the ruling last week. The Supreme Court's decision really gutting that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. The court struck down Louisiana's majority black congressional district, and Republican governors across the South in Tennessee and Alabama and in other places, they immediately saw that as an opening to try to increase Republican-friendly districts before the midterms. It's a controversial setting, really, in some of these states. Democrats and some of the representation of these districts are crying foul, that it's unconstitutional, that it stops the representation of minority-majority districts. So it's really getting a lot of attention nationally. We'll see where this goes, but we do think the next states are Alabama and Mississippi. We'll keep you posted.
All right, Fin Gomez, on top of it as always, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Vlad.